Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Ferrum Football First and 10. I am your host, Jordan Mann, and with me, as always, is Coach Grande. Coach, congrats on the win.
Appreciate it, Jordan.
Ferrum won at Brevard, the first meeting ever, in a 27-24 thriller. Little game notes here. Ferrum had 250 yards rushing, and on offense, they eclipsed over almost 450 yards with 446. Clifford had 196 yards through the air. Mann had 227 on the ground. And Johnny White had over 100 yards. And I see him back in over 100 yards receiving.
Yep.
And with a little game recap, Brevard came out first. Hopkins had a 5-yard touchdown run, go up 7-0. But then, just like last week, where the opposing team thought they had momentum, Mann comes in. His pass was incomplete on first down. First touch of the game for Mann, he goes 69 yards for a touchdown. Coach, what was your thoughts about that?
Never a bad play call to put the ball in his hands, and we took a shot on 1st and 10, and sitting at 2nd and 10, you try to kind of cut that in half. It's kind of my philosophy on that, to put it in 3rd and manageable, and great blocking up front. We created a seam, and Brian made a good cut. And when you make big explosive runs, your perimeter guys have got to be making blocks 2nd level, and those guys did, and he got it in the end zone to tie the game up.
Yeah, been explosive all year, like you said, and never a bad idea to put the ball in his hands. And Green hit a 21-yard field goal to make Ferrum go up 10-7. I know it's a kicking game this year. Nice to see ball go through the uprights, and as we'll get to later, but give a 10-7 lead early on had to be a pretty good feeling.
Yeah, I mean, Brad's a young guy and had struggles there at LaGrange, and had a good week in practice, and had a couple short opportunities to put points on the board, and came out of the day with 9 points with the 3 extra points and 2 for 3 on field goals.
Yep, and Brevard goes up 14-10. They had a 1-yard run, and then right before half, they made a 27-yard field goal. So Ferrum was down touchdown at half, 17-10. Coach, what was your game plan going into halftime?
Just to regroup with what we were doing. There were some execution issues more than schematic stuff, so I wanted to reemphasize the players. What we had in plan is the right plan. We just weren't clicking on all cylinders. So if we could clean up the things we needed to do, and we would be okay, and on both sides of the ball. And that's kind of the coming out of halftime. We wanted to handle that. So.
Yeah, and coming out of halftime is what y'all did. Both teams didn't score at first, but then Ferrum was the first team to score. It was a 14-yard touchdown pass from Clifford to Dre Davis for a touchdown, and it was a short field. Ferrum capitalized because Mann had 26 yards rushing before that 14-yard pass. So that's what you want to see on a short field, 40 yards, get all 40 and tie the game, 17-17.
We defensively pinned them down deep inside the 10, and made them punt out of their end zone, and got a little pressure on the punt and got a fair catch at the 40, and 2 plays later, Dre was in the end zone and, tied the game up.
Yeah, that was a big touchdown for Dre Davis. And then Brevard comes back. It was a 25-yard pass from Carter to Craven, who recovered his own fumble in the end zone to go up. Just a bit of bad luck there on defense.
Yeah, it was like kind of a gray area, whether it was a catch, fumble, or an incomplete pass, and the ball laid on the goal line, and the kid picked it up. We didn't react to the whistle not being blown, but it was one of those freak plays that went their way, and like I said, it could have gone either way with a catch, fumble, or an incomplete pass, and obviously it went that way, and we had to respond, down 24-17 at that point.
And that y'all did. It was tapped off by a Mann 6-yard touchdown run, but on that drive was a key 4th and 1 that Mann converted.
Yeah, we were driving. We had put some good plays together, and it was a situation in the game down by 7, time on the clock that felt like we needed to go ahead and make a big play on offense, and the line dug in, and Brian got enough to squeak through to keep the chains moving.
And start of the 4th quarter, Green hit a second field goal, which would turn out to be the game-winning field goal, as it made it 27-24. It was a 19-yard field goal, but I know you would want to put that in for 7 rather than 3.
Yeah, you always do, and certainly Coach Summers gave me the stink eye when we kicked it, because he always wants to go for it. But at that point, tie game, I felt our defense was settled in, and that was going to be tough for them to score. So if we could get some points there early in the 4th quarter, it was the right call to make, and turned out to be the difference in the game. So.
And with under 2 minutes left, special teams and defense came in at a perfect time. King pinned them deep. Dude caught it at the 12-yard line, returned it to the 20, but then the defense sacked him on third down, and then Al Matthews, I think, sacked him on fourth down for a turnover on downs and ball game.
Yeah, we had back-to-back sacks there to end the game, and had trying to bleed the clock. The scoreboard went black and went dead with about 2+ minutes left, and we finished the game with no play clock and no scoreboard. So that's a sticky situation. Up by 3, you're trying to kill the clock, use timeouts, and wound up having to punt just under 2 minutes and had to negotiate that last 2 minutes with the clock being left on the field. So it was unique. Hadn't had to deal with that in my time in coaching. But
have you had to deal with that as a player or anything?
No, I've never finished a game totally in dark, and that's it's sticky because you're only up 3, and the clock's a big part of the game. And Montel and Alvino had back-to-back sacks, and we had good coverage on the back end, and finish the game, in victory formation, what you like to do.
Now, so how does that work if you go dark? Is it just the referees that have it on their clocks in their hands?
Yeah, and they keep it on the field even with the scoreboard operating, and then the play clock's kept by the back judge, and he's got some hand signals that tells you when it's at 10 and when it's at 5, so that our quarterback can function without the clock in his face. But certainly a mysterious time for the scoreboard to go down, neat to say less.
Yeah, that is interesting. I've never heard of such a thing happen, and but that makes the win even sweeter to actually go in there with all of that malfunctions and come out with the road win.
Oh yeah.
Just a couple season stats now. Mann eclipsed 1,000 yards on the ground so far on the season with the game with his 227 yards. And now he has double-digit rushing touchdowns. He had 9 going into the Brevard game. Now he has 11. Rod Smith leads the team with 5 interceptions. And with that defense, the secondary and the defensive unit has 10 interceptions and 21 pass breakups. You love to see that activity in the back of the defense.
Yeah, and those guys have worked hard. And, the front end helps the back end and vice versa. And, they've played well throughout, the first 7 games, and we're going to need another performance this weekend down in Fayetteville.
Yep, Montel Lee leads the way with the guys up front in the trenches, 9 sacks, and the defense total have 19 sacks. And going to Fayetteville this week, what is the key to go in 6-2 overall?
Well, it's traveling again. It's our 3rd out of 4 games, including a bye week in between that we're on the road. And I tell the team all the time, it's not easy to get close to 100 people in the same spot at 1 o'clock, to play a game. And that's a key piece to the puzzle. That getting our guys prepared throughout the week, and we had a good Tuesday yesterday. I felt it was one of our better Tuesday practices in the past month, and we need another good one today. And at this time of the year, you want to stay healthy, keep them fresh, and go over some wrinkles that you're doing. But you are who you are. They are who they are, and we're going to have to go down and perform.
Well, Coach, good luck. If there's any Ferrum Panthers fans that are traveling to the game or in Fayetteville, please come out and support your Ferrum Panthers as they try to move on to 6-2 overall. Coach, thank you.
Appreciate it.